Bismillah, wassalatu ala Rasulullah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah wa simple natures in Descartes. Simple nature, in his book Reguli, which means rules in Latin, Descartes advances what was to become a major theme in his philosophy, that there is a formal structure which all valid system of knowledge manifest. Just like, a bit like, a deductive system, Euclidean system. And that this structure consists essentially of a hierarchical order. The objects of knowledge are to be arranged in such a way that we can concentrate to begin with on the items which are simplest and easiest to know and hard to doubt, I guess. Only afterward proceeding to the more complex truths which are derived from these basic starting points. So that's very much like Euclid. So you start from self-evident truths. That at the end of Rule 4, he observed, I have resolved in my search for knowledge of things to adhere unswervingly to a definite order, always starting from the simplest and easiest things and never going beyond them till there seems to be nothing further to be achieved where they are concerned. I've resolved in my search for knowledge to adhere to a definite order, also from this, always starting from the simplest and easiest thing and never going beyond them till there seems to be nothing more further to be achieved where they are concerned. They start from the self-evident truth, and I get their what they involve, what they imply, etc. And what else? See rules 6, which asserts that the main secret of the method, so-called this Descartes method, is to distinguish the simplest things from the complicated. And I guess simplest things just intuitively. What are simplest things and because as we just saw not long ago, existence for him is simplest thing, but for other philosophers it can be the most complex things you can think of. So it's intuition based, and obviously your intuition, Descartes won't accept it. We can see that how people's intuition may vary. So the human intellect, Descartes goes on to explain, has the power to intuit. Oh, there we go. So that's one thing which differentiates Descartes from Kant, for example, who was in many ways his follower. Is that for Kant, there's no intuition, there's no intellectual intuition in Cartesian sense anyway. So Descartes goes on to explain has the power to the human intellect power to intuit these simple truths, simple nature. So we know through our reason. So whenever we concentrate, so you have to concentrate because our intellect is in real working. Our intellect is entangled with senses and imagination and all those other things. So you need concentration and attention, which is important part. That's why he had his meditations. So you basically need meditation for it. Descartes goes on to explain has the power to intuit these simple natures or fundamental starting points for human knowledge. And obviously his method of doubt, because if you can doubt something, then I guess that's not as simple. At least once you have established the basic truths after the radical doubt. So Descartes goes on to explain has the power to intuit the simple natures or fundamental starting points for human knowledge. Simply sees them with simple and direct mental perception. Then again, question is your direct perception. There's no public verification. That's the huge, like with Plato and all those people who believed in, and later who believed in intellectual intuition. The problem always comes up how to verify them, because what we see through senses we can publicly verify them, or what we deduce intellectually we can publicly 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 check it through cross deductions, etc., through using the rules of logic, etc. But how are you going to uh, publicly verify your intuition, direct mental perception, and my direct mental perception? Allow for no possibility of error, since the simple natures are all self-evident. They be never contain any falsity. So Descartes' methods might have seemed radical, but when he started building that, it's basically a well-trodden arena, Euclidean. And obviously, he was a great mathematician. So his method was usually in his method was usually influenced by his mathematical mindset, and he thought that if we can apply mathematics to sciences and get good results, and to geometry good results, and he himself is the founder of Cartesian analytic geometry, I guess. So if we apply that to philosophy, that might get as um, good result as, if not better, in physics and other fields of knowledge. But we term simple, writes Descartes, only those things which we know so clearly and distinctly that they cannot be divided by the mind to others, by which we are into others which are more distinctly known. So for him, simple actually literally means simple as well, which cannot be divided further. So it's not just self-evident. So self-evident things might be there might be things which are simple, which are self-evident, and there might be compound things which are self-evident. Um, um, there might be conceptions which are self-evident. There might be judgments which are self-evident. But judgments are obviously not simple in this sense. Some of these simple natures are purely material. These include shape, extension, and motion, and form the building blocks of Cartesian quantitative science. But others, Descartes says, are purely intellectual and are recognized by the intellect by a sort of natural light. So that's when you believe in intellectual intuition, like Plato, like Augustine, you believe in natural light as well, without the aid of any corporeal image. It is the intellectual simple nature which enables us, for example, to recognize what knowledge or doubt or ignorance is. Finally, in addition to the material and intellectual simple natures, there are what Descartes called the common simple nature, like existence. I mean, probably common here might mean is similar to Umuriyama, for example. Common in that way, not in every aspect, obviously. Finally, in addition to the material and intellectual simple natures, there are what Descartes calls the common simple nature, which include the fundamental laws of logic. Fundamental laws of logic. Principle of self-evidence is the basis for all rational inference. These are common simple. In addition, the common simple natures are fundamental concepts like fundamental concepts, unity, existence, and duration, which may simply be applied either to material or intellectual simple natures. Using the basic rules of reference, we can make necessary connection and so link a simple nature together to build up a body of reliable conclusion. That's his method working. Descartes, though in regula, he goes into no details of how such reasonings are conducted, provides some striking examples which prefigure his later metaphysical inquiries. He writes, if Socrates says that he doubts everything, it necessarily follows that he understands at least that he is doubting. Or again, I understand therefore that I have a mind distinct from body. Why is distinct? I don't think you have to believe that it is distinct. I mean, you might be able to separate it or distinct. Or again, most significant of all, sum ergo doist. Sum ergo dus est. I am therefore God exists. Dus est. I am therefore God exists. I guess because my existence is not self-sufficient, we need sum ergo dus exist. Dus. How you pronounce it? Wonder whether this is ergo. Sum ergo deus, est, I think. Deus, yeah, do. In Spanish, adieu, deus, est. I am, therefore, God exists. What emerges from reguli is thus that the intellectual simple natures, together with corporeal simple natures, comprise the two fundamental set of building blocks for human knowledge, with the common simple natures or logical rules of inference providing a cement which binds them together in the appropriate relations. The whole, although common simple natures are not restricted to logical rules, they also include concepts like unity and existence. The whole of human knowledge, Descartes declared in Rule 12, consists uniquely in our achieving distinct perception of how all these simple natures contribute to the composition of other things. The whole of human knowledge consists uniquely in our achieving a distinct perception. All these simple natures contribute to the composition of other things. Although Descartes later abandoned the terminology of simple nature, the program for human knowledge which he lays out in the discourse, meditation and principle, nonetheless conforms in many respects to the conception outlined in Reguli. So Reguli is his earlier writing. Okay, subhanakallah wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Sallu wa sallam ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa dhurriyyatihi ajma'in.